Welcome to Feminine Fridays. Once again, I'm Laura Rubenstein here with the amazing Diane Heffman. Hi, Diane.
Hi, Laura. Great to be here and with you all as we go into another wonderful weekend.
I know it seems like the weekends are just like flipping like a page in a book. And that's how I feel. It's like, what's this next week going to be about? What's this weekend going to be about? And we're back again, and we mark time together by doing our Feminine Fridays little gathering here.
Wait,
So
Laura, I think we should celebrate because not only are we flipping chapter to chapter, we've completed a book here, a year, an annual book.
we
And
have, you're so right.
this is pretty amazing because I think in a life where there's a lot of incompletes, when you actually, when you read that last paragraph of a book and you actually have the satisfaction of completing something, the fact that we've gotten through all 52 weeks of all the cards and that everyone out here, went on this journey with us, whether you were live every time or, you watch the replays, and you can still watch the replays. We want to kind of give you guys a peek behind the scenes of what's the framework that actually led to these cards. So Laura, I'd love for you to share a little bit about like the 5 core principles that these came from. And as we're talking about a deck of cards, this would actually be like the hearts, the clubs, the diamonds, and I can't even think, what was the other one?
Spades or something.
Right? The
Yeah,
spades. Right.
exactly. And I am, instead of 4 suits, we actually have 5, right?
Yes.
And you may have noticed throughout the weeks, and please go back and watch some of them. All the fronts are always pink, right? They got the pink and yellow going, and that's the principle. And then the back is the practice. But there were different designs on the back. We had the blue and white, we have the green and white, we have the green, blue, and yellow, and we had the pink and blue, and we had the multi everything card. Okay. So there is a code. There's like this secret embedded code in the cards, which is so fun. And thanks. Hi, Christine. Thanks for being here. I thought I'd just reveal what this code is. And if you buy a deck, you actually get the download with this in it that shows what are these different codes, and they're the suits. And what do they stand for? Here they are. They're all C's. I call them the 5 C's of feminine power, or the 5 core feminine power principles. So, and we've talked all about them and around them and in them, and we've explored them. And the cool thing you can do, Diane, and you could take your deck out and you could actually sort them by the suits, right?
I've done this.
And so then you could say, I want to really get into creativity and develop and embody more my creative self, and feel my creative self, not like the artistic, but the creative, right? That part of you that creates things in the world, whether it's connections or it's you create things with your family, events, what have you. But you need to be in a creative mode, say, and again, not artistic, but a creative mode, personally, and just creating things in your life in general, so you can pull out all the cards that are in creativity and kind of flip through them or work through them or see what gives you some juice. Same thing with compassion or cultivating joy or community and connection, or conscious choice. Those are the 5. I mean, we're going to go into each of them in a future episode, but how do these land with you?
Well, if you're asking me, I love that, as things are, progressing in life, and we've had a lot of contemplation time about how we want to shift. And I love the people who are really taking a positive spin on what's going on, is that we have the opportunity to choose to operate from a different perspective. And when you have a framework that you can work from, that you say, hey, I want to have more gratitude, how am I going to create community in a different way now? Like, how are we going to do life differently? And by having these type of I almost look at them as cue cards, like for reflection time or meditation or things that you want to do, you can look at things differently. I mean, I love on there, and I know we're going to go in more detail in further episodes, but, creating community. I mean, today is my parents' 55th wedding anniversary. That is a big, big deal. Happy anniversary, Mom and Dad. And, we had a cruise planned. We were going to go, away even for a hotel visit. We've had our Palm Springs trip every year since I was in 5th grade. I mean, the traditions times that we've had. And I just said, I can't let this go by. How am I going to create community with my family in a different way? And so instead of Palm Springs, I live on a street that has the word Misty in it. I have a big sign in front of my house that says, "Welcome to Misty Springs." And all of my family is here to celebrate my parents. And I created, hotel rooms and these activities to be creative, to create community, to do things in a different way, so that we could still be together. And so something like the cards can have you look at how can you do things different, still get the intention of what you want to have as your end result, how you want to do things. And so these are a great tool to look at how can we do things differently and enhance our life. And I think it's just a great tool.
I love what you're saying because actually, if you get a deck of these cards, it also comes with a link to download this. And in this booklet, this is and I'm pointing there, but it's there. This booklet is, it's here on my screen, but there on your screen. So, in this booklet, actually, you get some blanks. You can take these and think about, okay, what is the community connection principle I want to embody this weekend? Or you could take a card out from the community and connection suit and just place it around the house for people to just talk about, right? It's something you can use in your everyday life within events and events you do with yourself or with others. I love the Misty Springs idea. That's so fun. How cool is that? So we just wanted to introduce to you the 5 core feminine power principles because we're going to be talking more in depth, and we went through all of them in random order, and just the order the deck came up to do.
Divinely inspired.
Divinely inspired. Yes, it was amazing, some of those cards and the timeliness of what was going on when we were talking about them. But again, the feminine power principles on the pink side, the blue side is the suit. So that's one way to sort your cards. The other is by the activity or the code that's the symbol on the bottom. There are 3 symbols. So those are not really suits, but they're types of cards in terms of activity. Do you want to meditate or contemplate something, journal on something? Do you need some affirmations, or do you want some actual things to do? And those were those 3 symbols. The heart is the contemplation. The smiley face was the affirmation. If you have more than one on a card, well, you get a bonus. You got both of them in there. And the star is something to actually do. I mean, I think I have one that says clean out a closet, and that was for the card that would simplify your life, right? And it's just a good reminder. And I think I might take that one on this week. So out of all of these, I know you're going to be very immersed in community and connection. I think I'm going to be immersed in the simplify my life. So I think that's creativity. It's kind of clearing out space. So each of you watching might want to choose just a theme for your weekend, right?
Yeah, I love it.
You can do this with the cards or on your own with one of these five feminine power principles. So just kind of dive into it. I mean, what's interesting about this, by the way, Diane, you might find this interesting, is I didn't start with the core principles. I started with like these C's. I started with the cards, and I had this deck that really helped me flourish into my feminine, right? And then I said, how can I break these up? What are the similarities? What are the messages coming through, glaring at me right from these cards? And I started sorting them. And this is the result of what came out. It's not like I had it first. It came to me. And thank you for helping me clarify that these are like categories you can live your life by.
Yeah, no, I love this. And, it would be great for, for our listeners is, either if you're here with us live or if you're watching on the replay, to put in the comments which one of the core principles that you'd like to have as your first focus. Like, we're going to look through all of them and they all have significance in different ways, but which one would you like to focus on first? And then maybe we can look at the comments and see if there's like an overwhelming response to one over another. Maybe that'll be the one that we start with. and start utilizing these as a way of, you start seeing patterns in your life, right, where you start seeing, like, do I need to increase my sense of gratitude? How is it that I am with my community? What is happening in your life, and what do you want to shift? And maybe it's that thing that you want to shift that you can start looking at. What are all the components? Noticing some of the patterns, like see what's happening in your life, and we can kind of see how once we notice something, right, awareness, then we can make shifts. And I think that would be a great thing for the weekend coming into here, as this is our last weekend of June, fully immersed into the summer, right? And so I think it's exciting to be able to be at choice, because there's a lot of things that feel like you don't have as much choice with a lot of things lately. And I think that when we get really clear on what we do have choice over and really be firm in that, I think it really clears a lot for how we live our day-to-day life.
Yeah. And so if there are questions that are burning questions in your mind, even if you can't figure out which of these core principles you think we'd like to go into next, I think asking the question, like, I'm really confused about, or wondering about, or been in deep thought about, or I've been avoiding thinking about, or I really want this in my life, feel free to sprinkle them in too, because that will be able to translate for you which of these principles we need to talk about to serve you in that way, and to just have conversation. Because when we come together and we start listening to different inputs, I think we did a couple of weeks ago the session on think different. If you want something different in your life, you have to think different, because your best thinking got you here. We want to help you cultivate new ways of thinking and being in the world, to live a heart-centered life, because that's what these principles are. It's about, how do you live a heart-centered life? Because can you imagine what is possible when more people are living from their hearts, from the energy of that of more compassion, more conscious choice, thinking through things before you react, cultivating joy in their lives, creating to fulfill a sense of something that might be missing for yourself, and going to your community and building the community connection that really fills your soul. What happens if everybody's doing that?
Huge.
Huge, right? Isn't it like, of
Right.
course,
Right.
let's
Yeah.
do this, people. Let's have this life of energized, heart-centered living. And
Right.
that's why we do this, you and me, together each week.
Yeah.
If we
Well,
get
and this is the steps it takes to, have an empowered life, to feel fulfilled, to actually feel a sense of happiness. Like, these are, they're little incremental things that over time make a huge difference. I look at like meditation. Like, I can do like one session of meditation and feel like, is this really making a difference in my life? But yet, I've heard like over and over again that it's the long-term practices. It's the things that you look at and they build upon each other. That's where you kind of wake up one day and go, oh, there's been a shift, and it's a positive shift. And these are the tools that you can utilize to do that, because the more empowered we are within ourselves, and we talk about the masculine, feminine, we're a combination of both, and you want to have a healthy foundation of both, because coming from that is such a powerful place, that from that place of when you filled yourself up, you can then use all of that energy to make the impacts that you want to make, to really have better relationships, to increase your business. I mean, all these type of things come from the foundational things that you do every single day.
Amen. And I put in the background the ripple effect, right?
Yes.
And then it ripples out. And that's really, the benefit, the big gimme of the whole thing is like, how can we have the most positive effect on our world and in our lives? And if it starts here, then we bring that out. So I love that we do this on Fridays, because it's a time when most people actually have a chance to do that, right? And can step into, something other than their work week type of thing. So
Yeah.
step into it. See what kind of principles you want to step into. Share them with us here, and we will be back next week to actually talk about them in detail. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Diane. This has been really fun, as always, to do our Feminine Fridays with you.
Awesome. Thanks, Laura. Bye, everyone. Much
Bye.
love.